If she had some deprogramming, she could be such a fantastic candidate.
What do you mean deprogramming?
Well, she just doesn't, she's never going to resonate with people outside of the bubble that she lives in the very, very far left.
What did they freak out about?
Gender, race, parenthood, schools, homelessness, crime, the border, education. Like we stopped being a science.
AOC might not be officially running for anything bigger. At least not yet. But the conversation around her has clearly outgrown her current role. To some, she's the future of the Democratic Party. To others, she's a gamble the party hasn't fully thought through. And that's where things get serious. Because once a politician stops being just a voice and starts becoming a symbol, everything changes. Messaging, image, and most importantly, electability. Bill Maher steps right into that pressure point. His concern isn't just about energy from supporters. It's about whether that energy can actually hold up on a national stage. And the moment that question comes into play, the entire conversation shifts. If you're into unfiltered political breakdowns, hit subscribe, drop a like, and let's dive in.
I'd love to have AOC on the show, and Mandami and Elizabeth Warren, but I can't subpoena the guests. And I can't fix that what the Democrats are scared of more than anything else, I mean, obviously besides gluten, is being primaried from the far left, even though most Democrats are not far left. They're mild-mannered and moderate, at least at my bath.
Maher doesn't hold back when the topic turns to AOC and unscripted interviews. He's openly invited her onto his show, but so far it hasn't happened. And critics are starting to notice. They argue it's no longer about timing, it's about control. AOC tends to shine in environments where the tone is supportive and the questions are expected. But outside of that comfort zone, things can get unpredictable fast. And in politics, those unscripted moments matter. One slip-up can spread further than a dozen carefully prepared appearances. That's why this keeps coming up. Not because of one missed interview, but because repeated avoidance starts to look intentional.
Practical thing that Democrats can do right now that would help them regain power, it's never speak to Trump in person. No, I'm kidding, that's stupid. No, it's this. Inspire your moderates to vote in the primaries. Get that base excited. You have the numbers. After Congressman Moulton made his comment about his daughter not getting run over, he added, "But as a Democrat, I'm supposed to be afraid to say that." Well, then change what you're supposed to be.
For many critics, the issue goes beyond AOC as an individual. It taps into a larger concern about the direction of the Democratic Party itself. Some moderates feel the party isn't as broad as it used to be. Instead, they see it narrowing into a more defined and more rigid lane. Figures like AOC are often viewed as symbols of that shift. She's no longer just a prominent progressive voice. She represents where the party might be heading. And for some longtime supporters, that direction feels harder to connect with.
She could be such a fantastic candidate.
What do you mean deprogramming?
Well, she just doesn't, she's never going to resonate with people outside of the bubble that she lives in the very, very far left.
Well,
and that, I mean, the New York Times, of all people, the people I've been like squabbling with for the last 7, 8, 10 years, whatever, when I was all about, Democrats have gone too far left, they just put out a huge editorial basically saying exactly what I've been saying.
What, that she's too far left?
That brings up a key question. How far can AOC's appeal actually stretch? Within progressive circles, her influence is undeniable. She commands attention and energizes a loyal base. But national politics plays by different rules. Winning on that level means reaching people outside your natural audience. Critics argue that's where the challenge lies. Elections aren't won by motivating one group alone. They're won by expanding beyond it. Supporters say new coalitions take time to build. Skeptics respond that if a candidate struggles to gain trust outside their core supporters, that limitation becomes hard to ignore. And in national races, limits like that matter.
Elected Obama, and clearly the country freaked out. We're still living in that freak out. We are not as progressed and evolved and intelligent as we think we are because we keep freaking out about this stuff.
Well,
you know,
the left freak out too. The left freaked out about a lot of bullshit too.
What did they freak out about?
Gender, race, parenthood, schools, homelessness, crime, the border, education. Like we stopped being a scientific people. Like it's not scientific
but the left certainly stays.
The tension isn't random. It's tied to the issues dominating today's political landscape. Topics like education, border policy, public safety, and economic pressure are front and center for voters. These aren't side conversations. They're often the deciding factors. Supporters of progressive policies argue these topics are frequently misrepresented. Critics push back, saying the bigger problem is how those ideas are presented. To many voters, some positions come across as overly theoretical or disconnected from everyday reality. And that perception hasn't formed overnight. It's been building over time through repeated messaging and ongoing cultural debates.
No, they didn't.
Why not?
Because they think gender bullshit that they went way too far with, that's not scientific.
But how do I'm not trying to. How do they go too far with like gender stuff? And I'm not trying to
instead of if I was teaching children, what I would teach them is there is a default setting for the human being, which is heterosexuality, but that doesn't mean every person is that, and we should completely respect everyone who isn't that. But we understand that that's called a minority, and what makes us a great country is that we respect minorities. We don't think they're lesser just because they're lesser in.
At its core, there's a principle most people agree on. Fairness matters. Respect matters. Equal treatment matters. But critics say the conversation has shifted beyond that. They argue that supporting fairness is increasingly being treated as requiring total agreement, and that's where tension grows. Respecting people doesn't mean avoiding difficult questions. And open discussion shouldn't automatically be seen as hostility. Supporters counter that some questions are actually disguised attacks. Critics respond that shutting down too many conversations creates frustration and mistrust. And that's why this issue has become so charged. It's no longer just about values, but about whether people feel free to speak openly.
Let's not even put it on the birth certificate. That's what they wanted.
Were we teaching that?
Yes, we
When
were.
were we teaching that?
Teaching it. It was a law here in California. See,
To teach what?
Don't put sex on the birth certificate. We'll see. Now we've passed that period now.
I'm sorry, I don't remember that. I mean,
I know because it doesn't get in the blue sky bubble.
Wait a minute, I'm not just blue sky.
I really think that's a lot of it, is that some of this stuff doesn't get in to everybody's.
What's especially striking is how some voices within the same political space seem surprised by how far these debates have gone. For many observers, that reaction says a lot. These discussions didn't appear overnight. They've been building for years. And when certain arguments start sounding extreme or disconnected, even some allies begin to question them. That's the shift happening now. It's no longer just outside critics raising concerns. It's coming from within the same circles, questioning tone, direction, and practicality.
Because I remember the African-American community was always saying there's brutality from the cops. Everyone said, oh, that's ridiculous. Stop it. This is all myth. And then cops started wearing body cameras, and lo and behold, there's all this footage of violence towards black people.
There was also a lot of footage of violence that they did on white people, but that didn't make it into videos. You see, nobody cared about that. Not that it excuses the other.
I'm just saying, whenever a minority expresses fear and trepidation and like, hey, please help us, this is going on, I tend now to believe them. I tend now to believe the minority.
I always believe them.
Whenever they say, hey, this is going on and this is really terrible.
Critics also point to specific debates where they believe the conversation has gone too far. One example often raised is the issue of fairness in sports when it comes to gender identity. Opponents argue this isn't about exclusion. It's about maintaining competitive balance. They believe the topic is often discussed in absolute terms, without enough room for nuance. Some suggest alternative solutions like separate categories, as a way to include everyone while still addressing fairness concerns. From their perspective, the goal isn't to deny anyone participation, it's to find a workable middle ground.
Bar with gender, maybe that was a function of, okay, these people are scared, they're being targeted, and we're watching them be targeted right now. We're watching transgender people be targeted in a very aggressive way. So
we are? Where?
Oh my God.
Where are they being targeted? I mean, like everybody is being targeted to a degree. I feel like,
but not scapegoated the way that transgender people are.
Scapegoated for what? Who's scapegoating
every school, every shooting is a transgender person.
Not every.
When you zoom out, the bigger picture becomes clearer. This isn't about denying real challenges or pretending voters are imagining things. It's about how those issues are framed and communicated. Critics argue that when every disagreement is treated like a crisis, the message can start pushing people away. Supporters believe urgency is necessary because the stakes are high. Critics counter that urgency without balance can shrink support instead of growing it. And that's the core tension, not just what the party stands for, but how effectively those ideas are being delivered to the people it needs to reach.
Not that the Republicans are probably going to give it back, is to be more moderate. But we don't have to argue about her. I mean, she has.
If people think she's too far left, then that shows another way this country's broken right now.
Well, I don't think it's necessarily broken in that way, but it just shows how the country is not there. That is not where the country is, and if you don't,
unfortunately, that's the one thing, and I hate to admit this. This country is not as mature as it.
Another key flashpoint is how disagreement itself is interpreted. Some argue that rejecting certain progressive ideas reflects something deeply wrong with society. Critics strongly disagree. They say disagreement doesn't automatically signal moral failure. Sometimes it simply means people aren't convinced. Maher leans into that point. In his view, rejecting a position tied to AOC isn't proof that the public is broken. It's proof that persuasion still matters. And that's where things get deeper. Because if opposition is always dismissed as ignorance or bad intent, there's no room left to reflect on whether the message itself needs work. And in the end, that might be the real takeaway. It's not just about what AOC or the party believes. It's about whether those beliefs are being communicated in a way that actually connects. If you found this breakdown valuable, hit like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. See you in the next one, Rocket.